It's night and day. Night and day back again.
Yes, back in the world of Final Fantasy Record Keeper.
This time we're going to show you guys something new. This is called Crystal Tower. This particular one is called the Sisters 3. And the way this works is slightly different than the other fights that we've shown you with the Magicite and the other stuff. Crystal Tower is 4 fights, but they're connected in that you can't use any party members that you used in one of the fights for any of the other 3 fights. So you have to build 4 separate parties of 5 characters.
Ah, interesting. And do you get to see who you're fighting in what particular order, so you can build your party accordingly?
Yeah, you can choose.
Like that, yeah.
You don't have to. The order that you choose is up to you. Like for this first party, we've got Cecil from 4, Ferris from 5, Celeste from 6, Ramza from Tactics, and Rosa from 4. Cecil and Rosa are glowing because the enemy here is from 4. So that means the heroes get synergy bonus. So they're slightly powered up. So these enemies are called the Mage's Sisters. They've been in a couple incarnations of different Final Fantasy games. But in this incarnation, I think this was the first time that they ever appeared, and this is from Final Fantasy IV. So, we've got the team. Again, Cecil and Rosa are glowing with their little blue auras because they're from Final Fantasy IV. The enemy Mage's Sisters are from Final Fantasy IV. They get a bonus because of that. And yeah, you can see ahead of time, so you can pick more people from the same realm if you want them all to have the bonuses. You can.
Right.
You don't have to do it that way. Some people do it that way for even increased challenge, because it makes you... The fun thing about the Crystal Tower is you're building the 4 separate parties. You're not... Oh, here we go with Celeste with Invincible Blade. This is going to pretty much wreck the Mage's Sisters all on its own. We'll get into that in a second. But yeah, the Crystal Tower, enemies where you build your own teams, prevents you from just using one team that's super, super powerful and wrecking every enemy with it.
Yeah.
So it makes you think a little bit more and use some characters and some gear that you don't normally rely on. So it's a lot of fun.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, so you can't just rely on, one OP team to wreck everybody. So you can't use one person, in the next party or anything like that.
So all 5 of these people cannot be used in the 3 remaining
never again
fights.
in the rest of the fights.
Yeah,
okay.
So it's pretty fun that way. I really like that aspect of the game. Because, in all the normal events that come out, there's a new event every week. And in all of those, you can just roll them with one extremely powerful team, just go through and crush every fight.
Right.
And I mean, that happens. The longer a game like this is out, the more likely it is you're going to have a super uber crazy team.
Right.
So this event makes you change things up.
For sure. And yeah, if you use the same people over and over again, I'm sure they're gaining stats and everything like that. And then you're basically just you're relying on one kind of team the entire time. So this forces your hand on changing. And then this is also you can build your own customized team to kind of battle against the enemy's weaknesses. I'm sure each one will have a different weakness that you can specialize your team against.
Yeah, in a lot of cases in the Crystal Tower, that is how it turns out, where they'll have a team or a specific, just one enemy that has a weakness to a certain element or something like that, and then you can break out the fire team to really wreck their face or something like that.
Yeah.
In that case, you might already have the teams pretty much made up, just because if you've done the Magicite, you already have teams for 6 elements or 8 elements already completely ready to go.
Right.
So in that case, it's somewhat less creative thinking on your part if you already have your team ready to go. But here, in this Crystal Tower, none of the bosses have specific elemental weaknesses. What they have are... The theme for this one is they're all teams. All of the enemies that you're fighting are groups instead of just one guy.
Oh, okay.
So here we have the Mage's Sisters, and what they like to do is Delta attack, where one of them casts Reflect on the center one, and then the other one spams spells off of the Reflect that the center one has, and it hits you with super powerful spells.
Oh, wow.
But Celeste, she doesn't care. Her whole concept in Record Keeper, spam, they do a spell, fire spell, and Celeste just eats it and takes no damage.
Wow. Holy crap.
Oh, we need to do this. Let's see if this happens. Good luck to us.
God.
All right.
Oh.
All right. So here's the unicorn. The unicorn. The unicorn is a powerful magicite. The way it works is, it gives you a shield called Astra, which absorbs or it prevents any one status ailment from triggering on you.
Oh,
so
okay.
if a status ailment normally would have hit you, it just blocks that. It only does it one time, so you only get that one free shot. But that free shot can save your entire run.
Right.
But yeah, so Unicorn is the magicite that we chose, and here she goes again. She keeps reflecting this ultimate magic off of the center girl, Cindy.
Yep. It does absolutely no damage at all.
Yeah.
It's super awesome.
It does 0 damage, and it restores Celeste's abilities. So instead of hurting us, it helps her.
Yeah.
As long as Celeste has that runic. So there's, I think, ultimate fire, gulp, yum yum.
Oh, thank you.
The reason it says 0 there is because she already has, her abilities are full. If she actually used any, then it would say 1 or 2 or whatever, so she would gain a charge each time. And yeah, the unicorn will pop in and cure us every once in a while.
Sounds like you're at Coachella or something.
So yeah, Celeste from her game she has from Final Fantasy VI, she is Locke's love interest like we were talking about before, her along with Rachel. We never really got to see anything that she did because she doesn't exist in Dissidia, so the conversation about that kind of stopped there. But her main ability in that game is the runic ability, where she'll absorb enemy magic and gain it as her own, that sort of thing. So that's why that translates into this game, and it's really... It really just wrecks the Mage Sisters. Like, these guys can be a difficult fight, but if you have Runic, they're pretty much a total joke.
Yeah. Holy crap. So, can you attack them individually, or do you have to... Is it a group attack every time?
No, it's either, depending on the ability you use.
Oh, okay.
So, and it's important that it can be either, because you need to take out the middle one first. Because she can cure... Oh, now we're going to just... Cecil's going to step up and wreck the middle one.
Oh my god.
Hold still, Chubby! Chop, chop, choppity, chop! So... yeah, Cecil's not usually a high-end damage dealer in this game, but since this is a Final Fantasy IV enemy, thought I might as well include him. And the Magicites are all geared to increase holy damage for Celeste's abilities. So since we have Celeste here to pretty much have an ultra defensive run, might as well bring Cecil. There are other holy people who do a lot more damage, like Orlandu from Final Fantasy Tactics, and Ramza from Tactics also can be a crazy heavy damage dealer if you have his chain. I don't have the holy chain, because if you're free to play, you definitely don't have every ability.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, you can definitely attack them individually or as a group. And what we're doing here is basically making the fight super defensive. You can... Here, Cecil's gonna finish her off quick. Bop! So you want to take her out first because, yeah, she can
heal her
raise
sisters.
the other two. Yeah. She can heal her or raise them. So if you take them out and she brings them back at full life, then obviously that's a big waste of time.
Right. Sure.
So their Celeste just did an ability that hit both of the other two at the same time. Also, the way these guys work, like a lot of Final Fantasy bosses, the weaker they get, once they pass a certain threshold, they'll start using more powerful attacks.
Right.
So it pays to just focus on one at a time, so you don't trigger all three of them going ape on you simultaneously.
Yeah. You just summon the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah, that's Ferris's pet, Sildra, who is a major part of her game.
He just like plopped his head onto the side and left.
Well, you got to drop him back off into the fight.
Of course.
Service with a smile.
Oh my goodness.
So Ferris, the reason she's here is because of the two abilities there, Heathen Frolic Sabernad and Multi-Break, which are dance abilities, which debuff every enemy that you're fighting. So there's different kind of debuff abilities. some of them do damage. They're called breaks, like armor breakdown or power breakdown,
Right,
and you'll attack the enemy and lower their power if you do power breakdown, for example.
Right.
But with the dances, you don't do any damage. She doesn't attack them, but she hits all enemies on the screen simultaneously. So it's really helpful, obviously, for multi-boss fights. Weaken all 3 of them at once.
Right, yeah, for sure.
So yeah, you can do a more offensive-based strategy, and we'll do, actually, those for a couple of the other Crystal Tower fights. But for this team, it's definitely more defensive.
Yeah,
We
it
have
seems like
Celeste running the show.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like once you can take those shots easily, then you can kind of play at your own pace there.
Right.
And it definitely makes for a cleaner fight, for sure.
Yeah. So there's different strategies you can use. You can go out all offensive, you can go out defensive, and that applies to most of the battles in the game. Some of the battles in the game they pretty much gear you 100% towards offensive. Because Magicite or things like that, the new Torment, they really want you to beat it in the fastest time possible to get the most rewards. And now Cecil this time is going to do a multi-hit. Bop, 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 bop.
Oh.
And bye-bye, little
down.
one.
Yes.
There goes
nice.
Mindy.
And now you can just focus fire on the last one.
Yeah. The last one, the tall one, her name is Sandy, and she does a lot of status ailments, but they're usually black magic or white magic, so Celeste just absorbs them. So basically, with Celeste here, I think only 2 characters in the game have that runic ability, which are Celeste and X-Death. X-Death, the main villain from 5.
Right.
Which I don't know why he has that in this game, but I mean, Celeste, it's her main ability in her own game, but so it completely makes sense. But anyway, yeah, a lot of their relics have those abilities, so it's not like if you miss this one relic that you missed your shot, and everything else they get doesn't have it. So even though those 2 characters, those are the only ones who have it, like there's a lot of different gear that you can get it from for either of them.
Okay.
And yeah, at certain fights it doesn't really do much on. Physical fights or fights where the enemy has this natural classified attack, where it's not technically black magic.
Oh, yeah.
It has to be classified as black or white magic. But if it does count as black or white magic, then she'll just own the fight for you.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yes.
Treasure!
Ooh, white crystals. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of crystals.
In most Final Fantasy games, there's definitely a lot of crystals. The glory.
Awesome.
So yeah,
That's
that does it
one
for the
down.
first fight.
Yeah.
And our strategy with these is usually to do the hardest fight first, because that way you can have all of your characters available for it. If you need to make adjustments or things like that, you can do it on the hardest fight, as opposed to you take out the easiest ones with your best characters, then you get to the last one and you find out you don't have what it takes anymore, and you have to start the entire run over.
All over again, for sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, alright, that is the 4th flight. The Mage's Sisters. We're going to come back in and do some of the other guys next. Probably just going to do them in complete reverse order and go 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. That's how I usually like to do it. It doesn't really matter. It's pretty much the first 3 are 1 difficulty, and the 4th is the hardest difficulty.
Wow. Okay.
So it's not like it's constantly sequential.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, it doesn't actually... Oh, yeah, you can tell with the difficulties is all 220, and then... Well...
Yeah.
It could be 230, it could be like 1,000, you know.
Yeah. Since we did a defensive strategy for the first one, it did take a little bit longer. Some of the later ones we're just going to absolutely crush through when we go into full-on offensive mode.
I mean, it worked perfectly because you had the full HP and everything by the time you were done. Like, that's awesome. Yeah.
We're never in any danger.
Yeah.
But for these, it's generally, the concept is, for any multi-boss fight, it's hardest until you get the first character, the first enemy down, and then the fight becomes much easier.
Oh, okay.
When there's fewer people attacking you, or they don't have combo attacks and that sort of thing. So that's the main thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Celeste, no problem at all.
That also makes sense with the with you wanting to pick your targets and everything like that, because yeah, that would be hell if all 3 of them break out into mass attack at once.
Okay, so you can see here, all of these 5 characters are locked out from the next fight. So we have to pick anybody else. I mean, there's lots of characters in the game, so you're not screwed by any stretch of the imagination. But you can't rely on that single super power team.
You're like super OP team, and everyone else is at the lowest level, lowest tier.
Yeah, so we'll meet you guys back when we have the party set up for the next run.
See you guys over there.
Alright, so here we are. We got the party ready to go. This time we're going to go in with a mage team. We've got Sid from Final Fantasy 13, Onion Knight from 3, Yuna from 10, Mog the Moogle from Final Fantasy 6,
Yes.
and Papalimo from Final Fantasy 14. I can tell by Travis's expression that he loves that name.
Oh man, me and Papa Lima go way back. Taught me everything I knew.
Now we're gonna fight Zorn and Thorn, crazy little jester type crazies from Final Fantasy 9.
Yeah, I always go for the Papa Lebo Moogle duo. I think this is gonna be a guaranteed win here.
All right, so now these guys have a different concept than the Major Sisters.
Oh,
here.
Yeah. Definitely seems like.
We've still got Mog the Moogle is here because he's a dancer.
Nice.
He's probably the most famous dancer in Final Fantasy.
Oh, he's killing it right now.
He was like the first dancer you could play in a party his entire job was dancer, to my knowledge. Like you could get in Final Fantasy V, an earlier game, you could have your character, any character could be a dancer because they could change classes freely in that game.
Right.
But Mog was a dancer, and that was his thing in 6.
It's his dedicated role solely there. Oh.
So here, the different concept is that these guys, you only have to beat one of them, and then the fight ends. So you really want to focus on just one guy.
Right.
And if it wasn't obvious enough by just the efficiency concept, another reason you want to do that is because, again, if you weaken them enough, they'll both get powered up.
Right.
You only really want one of them to be powered up if you can avoid it. So
yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense there.
yeah, so save your AoE attacks and just hit one guy. So what we have here is a mage team with a lot of instant cast. Oh, you son of a! You just stopped Papalimo.
Fool, you know you can't stop Papalimo.
Well, he'll be back in a minute. You can never truly stop Papalimo.
You can just slow him down.
So, Onion Knight, Sid Reigns, and Yuna all have abilities, soul breaks, that power up your magic attack. And Onion Knight and Sid Reigns both have abilities that are instant cast. So the reason that's important is because these two, Zorn and Thorn, can power each other up. So they can temporarily power the other one up. If you hit them fast enough, it'll knock them out of their super powered mode. If you don't hit them fast enough, they'll do this mega attack.
Oh, wow.
So you really want to, cut that crap out. So if you have a guy with an instant, like Onion Knight is just going to go bop, 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 bop. With 0 charge time, he just does his Swift spell. And, okay, there, he's empowering the bottom guy. Flare, empower Thorn.
Huh.
So now, the red guy is going to do a super powerful attack because I didn't wait. Oh, we can hit him in time with Onion Knight.
Oh, nice.
Boom! And because it's instant hit, boom,
It's
flare power
neutralized.
neutralized, so he doesn't get to hit us with his super powerful attack.
Nice.
And now we can go totally crazy. Yuna...
And tear up that dance floor.
Yeah, Mog is weakening them both. Papalimo's setting that dude on fire.
There we go.
And now
Kill
Yuna
Papa.
is going to cure us
Nice.
and raise our magic at the same time. So she's kind of offense and defense in one there. Oh, Meteor Empower, the top guy. So the top guy, if Onion Knight didn't have an instant attack, the top guy could have done Meteor on us, but now we just shut him up.
Nice. Stuffed it. Quite. Oh, there we go. Magical unicorn.
Yeah, we still have Unicorn as the summon. Because of that, I've got Sid geared up for Holy.
Oh, okay.
Didn't cover the gear as much as we could have on the first fight, but it was basically Cecil and Celeste both had dual Holy boosting equipment. And here, Sid Reigns from 13, he can have either Holy or Darkness as his elements. We have him set up with Holy pretty much because Unicorn is so useful.
Right.
And Unicorn is boost your holy damage as well as doing its other stuff of blocking the status ailments. So we
Right.
figure, okay, if we already have Unicorn, we are already boosting holy, might as well be efficient and
Right.
keep boosting holy
Yeah.
all the way for Sid instead of throwing him into darkness and trying to split it.
Yeah, that makes full sense there. Wow. What the-
So that's Yuna's Veil for. That's her traditional summon. It's the first summon that she gets in her game. And you can do a trick with it, which is if you give her a speed boost. I think the standard ability is called Allegro con Moto, but a lot of the soul breaks do it. Like ley lines that Papalimo just did gives you a speed boost to your offensive casting. So now that Yuna summoned Veilfor, like I just did Cure with her, and her bar is filling up really, really fast because she gains that boost to offensive casting.
That's right.
So normally she wouldn't get that boost, or if you're using the cures, that doesn't count.
Right.
But because you summon Veilfor, that switches her type of cure. It changes it from white magic to summon magic.
Huh.
And because it's a summon attack, now it counts as offensive.
Right.
So she gets this crazy speed boost, and we can spam her curing
Oh,
nonstop.
that is awesome. Magical dancing?
Oh, this is a very sad scene.
Oh.
This
I
alludes
found
to
you.
the fact that
No.
in Final Fantasy VI, Mog is like one of the last remaining Moogles. So he's kind of like
Wow.
thinking of having, oh, wouldn't it be awesome if
Yeah.
I found my one true love? Nope, your species is near extinct, so you're just daydreaming.
Once you
this.
die, that's it. I'm sorry.
So yeah, now we have Sid and Onion Knight as both instant cast, and Yuna as super fast spamming cures
Man.
and hitting the enemy for minor damage, but it doesn't matter because she's super fast spamming cures is the thing that we're abusing with her.
Yeah, just dink the HP down. I mean, it helps, but the curing is pretty much all you need there.
Yeah, and see, as soon as he does the empower, we're gonna say, nope,
Yeah.
bink, 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 bink.
Yep. Sorry about
Neutralized.
that. Yep.
Oh, you too? Oh, hold on.
Sorry about that.
Bink, 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 bink. So these guys, it's actually a pretty quick turnaround. So if you're using normal abilities without speed, then
Right.
you might not hit them before they do their super powerful attack. But that's another reason why I chose this instant cast mage team.
Right.
Just to make sure we could shut them down no problem.
And then you don't have to risk like 1 or 2 attacks getting through and then destroying your entire team.
Yeah. Because you don't want to be hit by the super strong ones. Even though we've got Mog debuffing their magic, so it could be something that we could survive. There's just no reason to
Risk that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can control the fight, control the fight.
Yeah, 100%.
So the reason we chose the blue guy on top, Zorn, I think, to take out is because when he gets low, the thing that he does is he casts Heiska on his team. So now they're both moving fast. But they already move pretty fast as it is, and our instant cast is faster than their sped up selves.
Oh,
so
okay.
that doesn't matter. If we attack the bottom guy first, then he, instead of doing haste on their team, he does some nasty crap to our team. So we can avoid that entirely and just let the top guy get weak because his weak mode haste doesn't really affect us.
Huh.
That's why we chose the blue guy.
Yeah, makes sense.
Bye-bye, Zorn and Thorn.
I love that. I love that he just walks away. Like, it's like, oh, I'm dead now. See you guys. There you go. Another really good round there.
Bloop. Get a little bit of reward. Get some nice treasure.
Tons and tons of crystal.
Yes, back for that crystal.
Yep.
Lightning crystal, holy crystal, earth crystal, dark crystal, crystal meth.
Yep.
So much crystal.
That's how you get the. That's how you like pay to win. You just sell the crystal meth. Ooh. So this is just for the completing 2 of these flights.
Yeah, you get rewards for each one, and you
okay.
want to do all 4 to get all of the rewards, which are motes. 5-star motes let you power up your guys to a high degree. The mithril reward was just, that was different. That was just because we did, or I did. You can get mithril by, oh, We can go over the team. Yeah, you get mithril. If you defeat 3 dungeons in a day, you get 1 mithril for that. So you can get 1 mithril from just doing 3 things every day.
Right.
And mithril is like the currency of the game. So if you get a lot of mithril, then you don't have to spend money ever. Basically. That's the way to play.
Oh, nice.
If you're free to play, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the team. Might as well show the team since we didn't. We'll just show the gear and stuff real quick. We don't have to go into too much detail here.
Right.
Papalimo's got his fire boosting stuff. Sid Reigns has his holy boosting stuff. And everyone else just has general equipment because they're not really specified. Onion Knight's stuff is non-elemental, so he doesn't need elemental boosting stuff. And here's the soul breaks that we used. Mog's soul break and Yuna's soul break kind of are redundant because they both buff the same thing, but we weren't really using Mog for his soul break there so much as just he can dance, and there aren't a lot of dancers in the game.
Okay, yeah. And I mean, he didn't really have much in terms of the offense, but I guess that's not why he's there.
Right.
Everyone has their role.
So we had King Bomb to up the magic, and Evray, just even though it's kind of a physical boost, the thing that it's really good for is surging power, which gives you a boost based on being at full health.
Oh, right.
Then Firemane and Gizamaluk give us defenses versus fire and ice respectively, which are all those guys use, so it's really good stuff.
Yeah.
And that pretty much covers it for this mage happy team.
Yes.
Soon we'll go into the next fight, which are going to be Celia and Lead, I think, from Final Fantasy Tactics. Another fight where you just have to beat one or the other of them to win the fight. And we're going to break out a whole new team.
Yes.
And do it a whole new way. This time I think we're going to go with something a little bit more physical.
Nice.
Less magical.
It's time to just beat down on people. So we'll see you guys over there.
Oh yeah, and this will show you all the characters that get the synergy bonus, which is what it's called if you're from the same realm.
Oh.
So all the characters from Tactics or core characters, which are basically generic job class characters, which are utterly useless because their stats are so low. It doesn't matter if they get synergy, like they're not good enough. And we're back. We've got the team ready for the next fight in the Crystal Tower.
I thought you were just gonna Crystal.
So for this team, we've got our water crushing team that we, at least a variation of it that we used before to take out the fire magicite.
Okay.
We've got Tidus and Edge and Bartz, and they all do disgusting amounts of damage.
Ew, that's gross.
Yeah. This time for healers, we've got Aerith instead of Rosa because she's better if you have a physical team, and this enemy here doesn't have super crazy magical stuff that we have to watch out for, so overall Aerith, she'll heal us and she'll speed up our attacks, so she's kind of like another offense and defense together thing.
Okay.
And to fill out the team, we've got Minfilia from Final Fantasy XIV, and she has a super strong attack buff. And it also grants you Last Stand, which if you die, you pop back up with a very small amount of health.
Oh, okay.
So
just in case.
Yeah, we're generally not going to need it for this fight.
Right.
But it's there.
Yep, and this, again, like you said, just focus on one of them. And then,
right.
Yeah,
this one does work like Zorn and Thorn. So we're going to take out the top girl again in blue.
Okay.
And for haste, we're actually using Edge's Soul Break. We use that. The very first move was that because for these, the only one trick about the Crystal Tower is you can't use Roaming Warriors, which means Roaming Warrior is something you can use for a lot of the normal events in the game. Ouch. Ooh. This is a nasty, ouch.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's...
And Tidus is on... Okay, so the Last Stand just saved him.
Oh, wow.
So we were talking about how it exists. It comes with Edge's thing, which gives us haste and a physical blink and Last Stand. And it just saved Tidus from death and ruining the run. And now Aerith is going to go total apeshit crazy and cure, because my Aerith is legend dived, so that's why she did a cure, and then she did it twice, and she did a mass full team cure at the same time, all in one turn.
Oh my goodness. So because Last Stand happened, does that mean it can happen again with any other character?
No, everybody gets their own.
Okay. So Tidus used his,
Right.
so he will die next time.
Right.
If
If he gets decreased to 0 HP again, he'll actually die for real.
Okay.
But now he's at full life because Aerith is just, boom, just curing like a champ.
Nice. And do these...
Oh, crap. So they stopped Minfilia, which is going to slow us down a little bit because, like I was saying, she has that crazy attack buff.
Right.
Normally, if you have the ability to have your full team wherever you go, you can just use Ramza in every party, and he'll give you that haste plus full attack buff in one shot. But because we used him already,
Right.
in this team, we're kind of dividing up the duties. So Edge has the haste, the mass haste for the team, and Minfilia has the mass attack buff for the team. And together, it's the same thing as what Ramza does. They each also add their own different things, but in terms of the buff package, that's what we're looking at.
Right.
So because she got slowed down a little bit. Oh, also, this is the first time we're not using a dancer that does the debuffs all at once. Minfilia is doing it the standard way with breaks, and she's hitting people physically one at a time.
Okay.
So, yeah, because, oh yeah, now Tidus is doing the chain, so
Wow.
setting them up and knocking them down.
That is awesome.
Now Edge jumps in for the bigger.
Wow.
It's not a ton of damage yet. Everything was around like 2.9, 3k. As the chain goes up, the number goes up.
Right.
But because Minfilia got slowed, the numbers are all a little bit on the low side. So now I can use her Blessing, Soul Break, and basically everybody's damage is going to go up much higher.
Ah. And I noticed they're not helping each other like how the other one was.
Oh, yeah. These enemies don't empower each other like Zor and Thorn.
Right.
So, but they have. It still makes sense to choose your target. So
Right.
if we take out the top one in this case, her superpower when she gets weak is to do instant death attacks.
Oh,
and
wow.
while that seems like a bad thing, I give everybody in the team instant death prevention equipment.
Oh, wow.
So we're prepared for it. Whereas if we take out the bottom one first, she'll do super powerful, I think, Ultima magic. It's either Ultima or Meteor. I'm pretty sure it's Ultima. Anyway, it's super powerful magic, so we're less prepared for that.
Right.
So we choose the top one again. Just, build your team around the strategy so you
Right.
can support whichever one you want to do.
Definitely. Yeah, it makes sense. So it's basically like you're basically just fighting one person in this case that you're preparing for, and then the other one you just have to be ready to take those hits.
Yeah, you
and
gotta
dodge
deal
those
with her.
attacks. Yeah.
And boom!
Nice.
Very fast.
Yeah, at the very end there, her life was just depleting like crazy.
Yeah, that team is the same with the Fire Magicite. Like, as soon as you set up the chain, it took a little bit longer to set up the chain here because we didn't have all of those maximum speed abilities ready to go.
Right.
But as soon as that chain goes, every one of the team just...
Just dominates like
Yeah.
one after the next. That was insane. Non-elemental crystal.
yeah, basically, neutral element instead of associated with fire or dark. But yeah, kind of awkward
Yeah.
phrasing. So yeah, as soon as that water chain set up, the first team with Cecil, we were saying it was done the defensive way, letting Celeste kind of keep us alive, turn the fight into a very easy fight.
Right.
But it took a while, like 10 minutes or so. Whereas this one, boom.
Yeah.
We went the offensive way and just crush her in, 3 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was within a couple moves that chain increased to that point where 1 or 2 hits and it was like draining life significantly there.
Yeah. I'll show the team real quick. Something slightly unusual for Edge is that we gave him the Dagger of Resolve instead of a super strong attack weapon or a weapon that boosts water. He had that dagger to boost his mind because his mind stat is usually garbage, and the haste that he gives us from his ability lasts longer with a better mind stat. So since he's primarily in the team for his haste buff this time, that Evelyn Doppelganger right there, we have to give him something that'll make that relevant, or else everybody's haste is going to wear off in like 30 seconds or
Right.
like really short, less than 30 seconds game time. Like 30 seconds game time is like 5 minutes, but
Oh, okay.
30 seconds real time is pretty garbage, and then your team is at a huge disadvantage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure. Yeah, it's definitely you have to fully customize it from the ground up. It seems like if you want to have the most optimal chance of utilizing your advantages.
Yeah, we had good old Unicorn again to stop their crazy garbage status ailments. And then we had water damage up, good old Evray with that health damage up and attack up. And we traded out the defensive Magicite this time for Seraph and Krista, which have dark defense and wind defense because that's what these two use.
Okay.
So, customize what you have for the team.
Right.
And it's more efficient that way. And now we will jump into the final.
Indeed, this is it's the first, but also the last.
Right.
Yeah.
The Alpha and the Omega.
Yeah.
Sacred and Minotaur from Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh.
So, because we're in Final Fantasy VIII, it's time to bring in Squall.
Yes. My boy's gonna kill it today.
Here we go. We've got Squall and friends. We got Squall and Renoa and Adea, all from Final Fantasy VIII, so they all get that bonus.
Huh.
Then we've got Penelo playing a healer and dancer role, so she can dance the enemies into weakness. And Alfinod from Final Fantasy XIV, yet another character with a rather...
Alfinod?
Yeah, rather strange name, because that game is heavy into the world building, because it's one of their online, massively multiplayer, thousands of people play at the same time kind of game.
Okay.
So, yeah, that and Final Fantasy XI have some extravagant names. Because they really go the extra level on their world building and characters with different dialects from different places and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Wow, that's right off the bat.
So right off the bat, we have her doing haste. Because, again, every party needs haste. It's pretty important. There is a haste Ga spell, so you can just give it to a white mage. But in this case, we have Penelo with dance abilities. So our white mage is kind of like taxed already.
Right.
We just have Protect. You don't need Shell versus these guys because they're all physical only.
Oh, okay.
But we do still need Protect, and then we need a Cure spell, so we don't really have room for Haste Ga.
Right.
So we're just going to give it to Adea. It also... This is exactly what we were talking about with the Crystal Tower from the beginning, where you're going to use people with older abilities or things that you might not normally use.
Right.
Adea is just like that. Like, that ability, Inaugural Parade, is pretty good. It gives everyone haste, and it buffs the team's magic, but you never usually use it because you have one guy who can do kind of all of that and more.
Right. Yeah, so that's definitely where you use your worst people in the easiest kind of, fight. So you can kind of, set the challenge with your best kind of party. Right.
And here she's not that bad anyway. It's not ideal. It's not your best thing, but she's still good, and she has the realm bonus being from Final Fantasy VIII herself.
Yeah, that's true. So is this...
And now Squall. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to smack this Minotaur in the face!
Ooh, my God.
Actually, this Minotaur's name is Sacred. The little Minotaur's name is Minotaur.
They should have named them just Big and Little Minotaur. Big Min's, Little Min's.
And now we have Renoa. I'm sorry, not Renoa. Oh no, yeah, it's definitely Renoa. And she's ready to set up the chain.
Nice. So is this the same where one goes down, you win, or you have to take both?
This one, you have to take them all out, like the Mage's Sisters.
Oh, okay.
So these guys collectively are known as the Brothers. That's what their summon Guardian Force is called in Final Fantasy VIII.
The Brothers.
Yes, they're the Brothers. So in this particular Crystal Tower, the Brothers and the Sisters, you have to take them all out because they're sticking together. The independent groups, even though I think Celia and Lead are sisters, even though they're really super crazy demon monsters. But
aren't all siblings?
At least to each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, now that the chain's up and Squall is going, we're just chopping this guy down.
Yeah, that is really... Oh, God, yeah. Every hit is... Like, you can physically see it just takes a massive chunk out.
Yeah.
So is the bottom guy easier because he's the little guy? Or is it...
Well, it's not that simple. The bottom guy does more dangerous attacks. He does more AoE attacks that hit the whole party for higher amounts of damage. Whereas the top guy doesn't have those powerful attacks, but the top guy has higher defense and more HP.
Oh, okay.
So in this case, we're taking the top guy out. We're taking the top guy out first.
Yeah, so I guess it'll be much easier to get the bottom guy out when you can just focus fire on him and get that multiplier going and everything like that.
I'm not 100% sure I'm right on that. I might have it backwards, but anyway, that's the differences between the two Minotaurs.
Okay.
So, in any case, yeah, you're just gonna, as long as you're picking one and mowing him down, these two don't have, the bottom guy definitely has all the AoE attacks because he just did one.
Okay, yeah.
But as long as you're picking one guy and capitalizing on it, making sure that you're not just wasting damage going back and forth between the two, that's the main thing.
Right.
Now Squall says, "Good night, sir." And he says, "Bro, I lost." Bro,
please help me, bro.
bro, do you even get shot by a sword, bro? do you even bleed, bro?
Bro, it's about to happen, so. So if you split the attacks, if you like don't attack one enemy and you do attack another, does the multiplier ever go away? Like, does it deduct over time if you don't attack again?
Well, this guy has his own multiplier, if that's what you mean. Like, each one of them, in terms of the chain, had their own separate multiplier that was building. So any attacks that would hit the top guy would only build to his.
Right. Yeah. So if, like, say Squall, if the entire team attacked the top guy, and then the next time attack the bottom guy. The next time you attack the top guy, he still has the same amount multiplier on his chain.
As long as that chain bar at the top of the screen has not expired, yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you do have this time element to it.
Yeah. Like, the chain is probably going to run out before we finish this guy off. The bottom guy only got up to 31, where the top guy had a much higher chain before he was done. Now the bottom guy got all the way up to 38, and the chain is about to expire. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, he's so close to the end.
Yeah. Renoa's gonna pop another chain right now anyway. We don't really need it.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, Penello's here more because she has the dance abilities. Again, dancers are rare in this game.
Yeah.
Than because she's a healer. But her healing Soul Break, her USB, heals everyone in the party and gives them a certain amount of stock HP, like 2,000 HP extra. So if they take damage, they'll get re-cured back up to 2,000. And it gives them all physical blink. So it's ideal. Yeah, this right here, Dance of Rapture. So this is going to heal everybody. We don't really need it right now.
Yeah, it's one shot off.
Minotaur's dead as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it heals them. Then the 2,000 is extra HP on top of that. And then they all have a physical blink. That's why they have that after image after them.
Oh, okay.
So she's ideal for physical opponents.
Makes sense.
For magical opponents, not as good, but still, I mean, definitely helpful.
Yeah.
Oh, and Adea just snakes the last hit while Squall is about to use his ultra powerful super attack.
Oh, man.
Adea's like, "No, I am magic!" Zap!
That's how she's.
That's her.
That's how she's murdering people.
Yeah,
no,
that's.
I am magic.
Zap, zap, zap! I do the zap zaps.
Squall's just like, oh, whatever.
Probably. Yeah. Whatever is definitely one of his catchphrases.
Oh man.
Yeah, you've come to know Squall so well.
Yes. Yeah. I've basically incorporated him in my life. Whatever's basically my go-to word now.
So that is it. That's the Crystal Tower. That is all 4 stages completed.
How the mighty have fallen.
It gives us this nice summary screen. It shows you the party that you used for each one.
Yeah, just really flew through those with the, with the strategies that you employed with all of these guys. Really,
these aren't the absolute hardest thing in the world. I mean, they're high difficulty 220, but Magicites are harder, and the newest Torments are harder. But these are still high-end fights with high-end bosses that can challenge you and definitely make you think outside of using your standard go-to party.
Right. And I like that it's not strictly elemental too. Like they have the different, like, throw in that little wrench in the plans or your parties that you already have built, like, for certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can do one that's specific for fire, but if you have 3 people, then that fire does nothing or something like that. So,
yeah.
So that's cool to see. little change up in the planes.
Or yeah, like the water team that just wrecked the enemies in 2 seconds. Like we can't use them on every single fight.
Right,
so
right. Yeah,
you have to use that change up.
Really good element.
So here's the abilities, and for this party, we didn't use every soul break for every character, but that's fine. Use. Oh yeah, the Thunder God Sid materia, Thunder God's Might, lets any character move really quickly. Every action that they take happens at a really fast rate for the first 25 seconds of the battle, so it's really good for... Oh, and for the first time we didn't use Unicorn. We used Wendigo here, who's a guy who comes in and weakens everybody's resistance to ice. So...
Oh, okay.
So because these guys didn't use any status ailments, we didn't need...
Oh, right, because they're
Unicorn.
strictly physical, so no need for Unicorn.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, some physical people still have status ailments that they'll use. I think these guys do attacks that interrupt your actions, but interruption isn't nearly as bad as something like, you know, Confused that takes your guy completely out of your control for a while or something like that. Or Instant KO, which instantly kills you, obviously.
Right.
So, yeah, nothing that we had to really focus on, so we added to damage with Wendigo instead of doing the Unicorn Shuffle like we did for the other four.
Gonna miss that Unicorn. I've grown fond of his grace and beauty.
His majestic healing prowess.
And the weird, like, death look in his eye. It's a rather violent unicorn.
You know he's thinking about taking somebody out.
Yeah, stabbing somebody with his forehead.
His horn.
Yeah.
His horn of doom.
His forehead spear.
So yeah, this Crystal Tower goes through the 23rd. Each of these Crystal Towers, they have one come out a month. And it's a pretty fun event. I definitely recommend it.
Definitely seems like a fun challenge, for sure. Especially with all the different characters that you have to kind of learn the play style of and everything like that.
Yeah, it gives you a chance to, again, play with characters that you don't use abilities and soul breaks that you don't normally use. Definitely a lot of fun. It looks like that's going to do it for this episode of Final Fantasy Record Keeper.
Indeed. We will see you guys in the next episode.